Hello everyone. It's been a while since our last dodo demo. Today I want to show you the recent development where I revamped the UI quite a bit and added a couple of new features to the system. One of the most important ones I think nowadays is the agentic coding. So today I want to show you how LLMs can help us both in writing our application code, but also configuring the infrastructure and environment for it. So the screen you see here is the overview tab where you can see all the components which are running as part of the project infrastructure. Right now, it's running only a single service called Dodo, and it's an agentic coder using the Cloud API. Um, it's using the open source Sketch project, so it's not built by me, but I'm rather integrating it with the rest of the Dodo infrastructure. So if we say hi to it, it should analyze the current Dodo environment it is running in and give us a little bit of summary about it. In the meantime, I want to concentrate your attention on the right-hand side where this is a simplified view of the canvas, which we already had implemented previously. So right now, as you can see on this canvas, we are running a single Dodo service, which is exposed on private network via three different endpoints, subdomains, one of them being the subdomain for the agent itself, where we are actually talking to it right now. And two others, we're just opening up some ports which we can use later on for developing different applications using the agent. So if we go back to the agent chat interface, it's greeting us with its own name and then giving us a summary of the project environment. So it's saying that same, like three networks available for the project. There's no services running yet apart from the Dodo, and it's ready to help us create new services for infrastructure. Let's actually ask it to import and run the blog engine we implemented in the previous demo. Since I already connected Dodo to GitHub via access token, I can actually ask this agent to first list available. It should use the GitHub API to fetch list of GitHub repositories available with this token. And one of the repositories should be Dodo blog, which we worked on last time. In this compact UI, Sketch doesn't show too much details of about its thinking, but we can always go and open its interface in the expanded mode, and you can see all the steps it's taking to actually answer us. So yeah, I did a curl to GitHub and then gave us list of available repositories, and Dodo blog is the one we are interested in right now. So let's actually ask it to load Dodo blog service. So now what it should do is clone the repository locally on its own machine where the agent itself is running, analyze the code there, and come up with a service definition. So Sketch actually knows about the Dodo app configuration JSON schema, so it knows how to configure different parts of the infrastructure um, and also figure out what kind of dependencies it needs. So for example, if you remember, we implemented Dodo blog using PostgreSQL as a persistent storage. So yeah, so what it's doing is analyze the project repository first, then it's getting the current project configuration and all the environment variables available in the project. And now it's creating a service for this repository. So it figured out that we need TypeScript. It's using Next.js and React. Yeah, so it created the dodo configuration and validated successfully. And now it's saving it as a draft. So if we go back to the build tab, yeah, we should automatically see the new components added to our infrastructure. Yeah. For some reason, it couldn't figure out the dependency on the PostgreSQL. So let's ask about it. Let's go to the full view to see what it's actually doing. Yeah, so it actually noticed that we are using Prisma client as a dependency, but ignored it for some reason. So it's gonna update the service definition. I figured out the environment variable it needs to talk to the database. So if we look at the Prisma schema, yeah, so that's where the environment variable is coming from. So it actually read the code and figured this out and updated the to-do list. So let's look at the canvas again. There is our database, there's our service, there's our GitHub repository, and ingress. So let's take a look just to make sure nothing missed. So it's missing the Prisma migration scripts. Should get the updated list of comments here in a bit. Yeah. Let's see the list of, yeah, so it is asking now Dodo to run the Prisma generate and Prisma migrate scripts right before the building the application. So it has the Prisma client generated beforehand. Let's go ahead and deploy it actually. Let's use the Node.js just in case. So in the meantime, we can take a look at the JSON configuration and it's generated for us. So this is the service definition for the Dodo blog. As you can see, it's pointing it to the correct GitHub repository, choosing the one port to expose the service, this ingress for it, and the environment variable, which actually points to the PostgreSQL instance defined below. Yeah, if we go to the monitoring page, we should see the dodo app worker come up shortly. Yeah, there is our service. There is one of our workers. We can view the logs, and yeah, it successfully cloned the repo. It's now installing the dependencies, running the Prisma migration scripts. And installing again for some reason. Let's see. In the meantime, let's look at the gateways tab. So I've updated the UI so that it's easier to find all the external endpoints available in this project. So right now, these three below are all related to the agent. So first one is for actually talking to agent, and last two are to expose whatever will be running on 8080 and 81 ports. And the blog, and for blog, there is a new gateway here after the deployment finished. Let's go back to the logs. Yeah, looks like everything is done. Now we can actually go to preview tab to see our blog in action. There we go. Okay, so as you can see, Dodo is and Sketch actually is smart enough to analyze the already existing GitHub repository and then figure out what infrastructure pieces it needs to successfully run on the Dodo platform. To achieve that, I actually had to make few modifications in the sketch, like specifically I wrote some tools to adapt it to the Dodo environment so that it can get the current environment configuration, validate the new configuration, save the new configuration, and then at the end deploy it. So all this is good. Now we can, as you can see, we can import the existing repo in Dodo and with very minimal intervention, get it deployed. Now let's look at how we can actually implement the completely new application on top of Dodo using the agentic coding. So let's ask it to, let's implement simple express JS based to do a web application. Make sure to use CI, and let's ask it to use TypeScript. This will take a while, actually. Not that much, but let's look at the detailed steps it's taking. Yeah, so it created a to-do list. First, it's gonna create a directory for the project, then configure the package.json and TypeScript and Express.js dependencies, and implement the backend, implement the frontend with Ajax, configure TypeScript, run the server locally to make sure it all works, and then create the service out of it. Yeah, so it's creating the package.json file. As you can see, it added a dependency on Express. Configuring the TypeScript, and creating the backend API. I'll actually implement that API, I guess. Yep. Now creating the HTTP routes. And then finally the entry point, I guess, which starts up the server. Yeah. Still working on the HTML, CSS, and the front-end code, basically. There it is. None of this is Dodo specific just yet. So if you install Sketch on your own machine or use the some hosted version, you can ask Sketch to do the same. But where the Dodo comes into play is actually deploying it and running it in production or development environment. So which we will do as the last step of working on this application. Creating some styles. With some JavaScript. So I guess this step is done as well. Now it's gonna run the app locally. Yeah, install all the dependencies. That was done. Now run the script. Looks like it's working. No, it didn't actually. Yeah, for some reason the oh, run it. Oh, 88. Let's take a look. Oh, this is our to-do app. It's impressive, I would say. Yeah, so since the application code is ready, now it's asking us to actually deploy the service on top of Dodo. So it's gonna create a Git repository and push it upstream on GitHub, and then create a service definition for Dodo. Let's ask it to create Dodo app. It actually created one by itself, so that's smart. We go back to our repositories, you should be able to see it. There we go. Now it's gonna push the changes. Should use the personal access token. Yeah, there we go. There's our to-do application with the ingress exposed to the private network. And let's look at this. So it's using Node.js. These two are gonna run automatically by Dodo anyway. So let's remove it. It's using the port 3000. Yeah, that's it. Let's look if the repo is ready. Yeah, it pushed all the implementation there. Okay, so now let's ask it to deploy. Yeah, it's calling that deploy tool. Check the config just in case. There is the to-do app definition. Is a port which gets exposed to the to-do subdomain. Yeah, it's deployed. Looks like it. So now let's look at the monitoring page. We should see to-do app service here in a bit. There we go. There's our worker. Let's do some reviewing. Yeah, all good. So let's test it out. The only so it seems it's working, but um, I think it implemented the server in a way that to-dos are stored in memory. So let's ask it to actually use the existing PostgreSQL instance to persist the data. So for example, if we restart this service now, previously saved items will be gone, and we don't want that, obviously. Let's see. Yeah, it's empty. So let's ask it to use existing PostgreSQL instance to persist to do the database. Let's see the to-do list it's creating for itself. Add the dependencies, create the table, configure the connection, and update the service to actually use the ORM library, update the other configuration, and then push changes upstream. Yeah. creating a connection. Now updated the service implementation to use the type ORM and the database accordingly. It's being very thorough, so it's testing the implementation as it goes by. So it's gonna run in the loop until it achieves the task we gave it. So sketch is pretty cool. Done with that. Let's see now. It should ask the dodo to give it all the environment variables available in the project, one of which will be the connection string to the existing database, and ideally it should use it to test the changes. Yeah, it got the environment variables and extracted the connection string. Looks to be working. You can monitor progress. It manually edit some data to the database, I guess, or via API, maybe, I don't know. Let's ask it to actually push the changes. Yeah, so now it's updating the dodo config. Let's see, what is our to-do app? There we go. It should connect to the database automatically. Yeah. There's our to-do app. Our DB, it's now used by the two different services, blog and the to-do. And let's deploy, I guess. And so it pushed the changes upstream. Let's look at the last commits. Yeah. it's gonna, once the deploy is done, we are gonna get a new worker for our to-do service because the environment changed, so it's gonna kill the old one and start the new instead. Succeeded. Let's wait a bit. Was it reloaded by any chance? Let's reload just to double check that data gets persisted. Let's see. Mhm. There we go. So yeah, that's all I wanted to show you today. So apart from simplifying the UI a bit where you don't actually have to worry about the graph representation of your infrastructure, you can just simply see all the components and their configurations very easily. Plus, there is a way to find all the external endpoints exported out of this application. And yeah, monitoring was revamped. There's an integration with GitHub and different LLM APIs for agentic coding. And yeah, review mode where we can actually, if you develop your application using the agent or via VM running inside Dodo and run the server with the hot reloading, then you can simply run the preview and uh, see the changes in real time. Yeah, so you don't actually have to leave the Dodo environment at all to, and you can work on your application fully within this platform. Yeah, so yeah, I have a few things to work on coming days. So hopefully the next update will be much quicker than the last time. So yeah, thanks for watching and cheers.